Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Thursday, August 18th, 2022. Stand up for your country. One of the things that drives me crazy about Joe Biden is that he causes problems. You know, most presidents don't know how to deal with problems. The worst president in our history was James Buchanan. He came in to a situation where the South was actually raiding federal depots for weapons, and they were doing all kinds of things, signaling they were going to bail out of the Union. And Buchanan just sat there and didn't do anything about it. So the South became more emboldened. That led to the Civil War. Buchanan left. Lincoln came in. And the rest, as they say, is history. Buchanan didn't cause the Civil War, the slavery issue, all that. He just sat there and allowed just horror to develop. Same thing with Herbert Hoover, one of the worst presidents ever. He didn't cause the Great Depression when he got in. He didn't do anything about it. And people were dying. But Biden's a different situation. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Republicans only need to tell voters one thing, in my opinion, in order to win in November. They say that the southern border is wide open because President Biden wants it that way. You don't even have to say inflation's terrible, the economy's wobbling, foreign policy is out of control, she is threatening the United States. You don't even have to go there, because the border is so bad and so many people are getting hurt. And it's because of Biden. It's not because of the Democratic Party. They support it. Okay? It's not because of some cabinet member. Mayorkas is just a guy in there who's way over his head, but he didn't cause it. It's Biden. He will not enforce immigration law. So let me prove my point here. Border Patrol has announced that in the first 10 months of this fiscal year, which ends in October, agents have made 1.82 million arrests at the southern border. Almost 2 million. There's still 2 more months to go. That is a record by far. So this is just a stream of foreign nationals every single day, overwhelming U.S. authorities on the border. Okay, now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the apprehensions are now being adjudicated so that they aren't apprehensions anymore. It's the Border Patrol stops you. You have no business here. You have no passport, no papers. And then in a matter of hours, they let you go right into the country. That's what's happening. Okay. And it's not like it isn't happening. It is. And these are the old federal government stats. Okay? In addition, record amounts of hard narcotics are coming in here. It's July alone, 2,100 pounds of fentanyl. Fentanyl is a little pill. 2,100 pounds just in July. This is an increase of 200% over last year. So the drug smugglers on both sides of the border, cartels in Mexico, organized crime in the United States, it's just like, come on, wave them in because of the open border. Now, so far this year, again, according to the federal government, 18,000 pounds of cocaine seized, 138,000 pounds of methamphetamine, and 1,300 pounds of heroin. The heroin's down because the fentanyl is up. Fentanyl basically does what heroin does, but it's much more powerful than heroin, so it kills you. Not always, but a lot. So hundreds of thousands of Americans are dying, not only from drug overdoses, but when the drugs get to the cities, the drug gangs, primarily African American, they're the retail sellers, they're fighting each other and law enforcement to control the street drug industry. That's resulting in violent crime through the roof. So you got drug overdoses, and they say about 120,000, whatever. It's way more than that. But a lot of these coroners say other people die of other things, that kind of thing. But it's way more than that. And then you have all the murders and all the violence in the cities, the big cities. So, again, this isn't two sides to the story. This is happening. President Biden does not care. Fact. If he cared, he'd do something about it. But there isn't anything being done. I mean, nothing. So, 18 months of this. How much more do you need, you liberal Democrats? How much more do you need, you independent voters? The Republican Party is going to vote en masse against Biden and the Democrats. But independents and Democrats still supporting, some of them, the Biden administration. How much more do you need? Do you really believe this is good for the United States? Where foreign nationals, millions of them, can come here unattended? And when they come here, we have to take care of them. We can't let them die in the streets. And that's U.S. tax money. I mean, we're talking millions of people, most of them poor. And then the narcotics are everywhere. Now, if you read Killing the Mob, and I hope you read all the killing books, because if you do, you'll have a very, very good idea of your own country. But Killing the Mob, I laid out how the narcotics traffic was controlled at wholesale and retail at one point by organized crime. The Italian gangsters, the five families, they controlled it. But they don't control retail anymore. They still control a lot of the importation of narcotics here, but not how it's sold on the streets of New York City, Chicago, LA, and every other big city. Those are African-American gangs doing that primarily. There are some Hispanic gangs, but it's primarily African-American gangs. And they're killing people, thousands of people. And there's no problem getting their product here. It's easier to get narcotics into America today than ever before. And the federal government says it. Again, where is President Biden? Where is his chief of staff? Where is Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer? Gone. They don't care. And there's no other explanation. They don't care that Americans are dying. And here is the real kicker. Equity, and we're going to take care of African Americans and all of this. Mostly African Americans dying. So that's how fraudulent and hypocritical this whole progressive move is. I'll tell you what, I've never seen an issue this intense that is so clearly defined than the border. So Joe Biden is now in dereliction of duty territory. He swore to uphold the laws of the United States. He is not upholding them. And in any forum, he could not persuade any fair-minded person that he is. So he could be impeached if the House goes Democrat in November. That would take place after everybody's sworn in January. He could be impeached. That would be a mistake by the Republican Party if they decide to do that. They could do it, and they would get the article of impeachment passed in the House. They never get a conviction in the Senate. Okay, but they could embarrass Biden. But here's what the Republicans should do. Immediately after taking power in January, the House committees, Homeland Security, Oversight, whatever it may be, begin holding hearings and bringing in Mayorkas, Buttigieg, all the department heads, the whole cabinet. You subpoena them and embarrass them in front of the whole country, because they're not going to be able to defend the Biden incompetence. So rather than doing what Nancy Pelosi did to Trump, which, blew up and nobody got anywhere on it, You don't do that. You set a record. And then the final thing, after Mayorkas and Buttigieg and all of the other cabinet members, department heads, definitely Merrick Garland, definitely he's in. Okay? Particularly if this whole Trump thing doesn't work out. Once you have all that on the record, then you go after Biden. And that's the memo. If you are stuck in a timeshare and you haven't called Lone Star Transfer yet, what are you waiting for? Lone Star Transfer has helped more than 16,000 happy customers. They are family-owned, have a 99% success rate. Their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. I mean, does it get better than that? The team at Lone Star Transfer will keep you informed every step of the way until you are legally and permanently released from your timeshare. So, don't pay another penny for a timeshare you don't use. Get peace of mind today with Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Give Lone Star Transfer a call for a free no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at lonestartransfer.com. Okay. Department of Homeland Security, run by Alejandro Mayorkas, one of the most incompetent civil service I've ever seen. They now admit that the Biden administration has what they call expedited removal power. So when somebody illegally crosses into the United States on the southern border, overstays the visa, when they fly in here, whatever, they can immediately, without a hearing, if that person is caught, deport them immediately on the spot. All right? That's built into our immigration law. It's very important for everybody to understand. Don't have to have a hearing. It's called expedited removal. Person doesn't have credentials to come in here, turn them right around, and he goes back to his home country. Costs us money, but that's the way it goes. All right, now, between July 2021 and July 2022, last month, the Homeland Security Department processed more than 1 million migrants. That means they took the migrant crossing the southern border illegally, brought them to a building, sat them down, got their names and addresses from their home country, put it into a computer. Okay? Immediately after that, these 1 million foreign nationals could have been deported immediately, as soon as they put it in the computer. 853,000 foreign nationals who were processed in that room were let go. If that's not a dereliction of duty, if that isn't a constitutional violation of the President of the United States' sworn oath, nothing is. Nothing. Now, I hope I have explained this to you in a vivid way with no hysteria, no hyperbole, facts coming from the federal government, from the Biden administration itself. So the bottom line on this is Joe Biden is saying to every American, all 330 million of us, blank you. I'm the president. If I don't want to enforce the law, I'm not going to. That's impeachable. But again, with our polarized society, he would not be convicted in the Senate because the Democratic Party doesn't care. Biden doesn't care. But there's no outcry in the Democratic Party, which is why, getting back to my original statement when we began the program, if the Republicans just took my monologue there, don't use me because I'm not a party guy, just took what I said, because the transcripts are up on BillO'Reilly.com every day. That's all you need to do. Because there are enough fair-minded, independent Americans and Democrats that would say, you know, they're right. This can't go on. But it will go on if Biden, look, the Republicans have got to take both houses. The Senate, dicey. The House, they will take. Now let's bring it home. Ready? In Colorado, there was a 13-year-old boy named Jose Hernandez who lived in Aurora, Colorado. I lived in Aurora, Colorado for 2 years while I was working at KMGH TV in Denver. A classmate, according to the boy's grandparents, gave Jose a pill, which Jose, at 13, took. It was fentanyl. Jose's dead. Okay? Now, 13 years old, dopey kid, fentanyl pill his classmate had, and I believe the grandparents. Jose gets the pill, takes it to be cool. Dead. 13, 11-year-olds have fentanyl pills. All right, let's get to the Trump FBI situation. Big hearing in Florida today. Judge Reinhardt, a bunch of news agencies. The first time in history that news agencies and Trump agree. They want the warrant unsealed, the affidavits who accused Donald Trump. They want to know who that is. All right, so Reinhardt held a hearing. Here's what Reinhardt did. He said, yeah, I'll give you a little bit more specificity about what the FBI was looking for. All right, and we'll have that shortly. But I'm not going to rule on the affidavit until August 21st. I'm going to put it off so that the Defense Department, the Justice Department, I should say, not the Defense Department, the Justice Department can go back and tell me what they want redacted, which is going to be the names of the people who accuse Trump of whatever. So this is just another, it's not going to lead to anything. Maybe next week we'll get a little more clarity on this, but I would be shocked if a judge, a federal magistrate, he's not an elected judge, he's a magistrate, if he said, yeah, I'm going to tell everybody who the names are, who these people are, because those people would obviously be in danger and their whole lives would be ruined, no matter what happened. So they're not going to do that. They're going to take the names out. Now, if it ever comes to a charge, if the federal government ever charges Donald Trump with anything, and I don't believe that's going to happen, but I could be wrong, then they would have to, because you have a right as an American under our Constitution due process to face your accuser. They'd have to do it. They'd have to say, these are the people who accused Trump. But now they don't, because there's no criminal charges. So that's what happened today. I'm a simple man. I like to keep it simple. So now we go next week, and he's not going to tell you the names. Not going to happen. All right, phony polling. This is becoming a big problem in America. Okay, so Politico is a left-wing website. They have a polling operation. So they took a poll, 2,000 registered voters, pretty equal Democrat, Republican, and the poll question was, do you approve or disapprove of the FBI's decision to conduct a search warrant on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida? According to the poll, 52% say, yeah, I approve of that. I like the search. And 37% say, no, I don't like it. And then 10% don't know. Okay. Now, I don't believe that. Do you believe that? I think it's about 50-50. However, the third question in the poll is this. Would you consider the FBI's decision to conduct a search warrant on Donald Trump an abuse of power? Yes, 49%. No, 40%. So wait a minute. 52% approve, but 49% say it's an abuse of power? So that means that the majority say, yeah, it's an abuse of power, but I still want it. Does that make sense? No. It's just phony. It's phony. This whole racket. Okay, so the problem here is that news agencies pick up the first part of the poll. 52% of Americans want this thing. Look at this headline. All right? This is one of hundreds of headlines on the internet. New poll, majority of voters now approve of the FBI raid on Trump at Mar-a-Lago, up from 49% last week. Okay, yeah, but you don't run in the third where most Americans say it's an abuse of power. You just use the top line on a phony poll. And see, Americans don't know this, and they see this stuff all over the place. And this is how perceptions are formed. And this is what the media wants. It wants all Americans to believe, yeah, get that Trump. We know he did something. It's so corrupt. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Things are very tough in America, as we all know. Gas prices up 59%, food up 10%. And have you taken a look at your cable bill recently? Some of us are paying more than $150 a month. That's why I am excited about the streaming platform VidGo, V-I-D-G-O. VidGo gives you the freedom to be entertained at a price you can afford. VidGo has all of my favorite live sports networks. They have a great choice of news programming, including The First, Newsmax, OAN, and Fox. VidGo also has more than 100 channels of entertainment. All of that for just $59 a month for the base package, $79 for the premium package. You deserve the freedom to be entertained at a price you and your family can afford. Please sign up at vidgo.com/bill. All right, here is the final thought of the day. So this has been a very chaotic week for me, and I am not a man of chaos. I don't like chaos, as you probably know. But I haven't been living in the moment. What do I mean by that? So I'm doing 5 things at once, and I know you do this too. So I'm doing a task, but I'm thinking about something else. Or the phone rings, or the doorbell rings, or someone comes in and I'm doing stuff, and the stuff that I'm doing poorly because I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing. And that leads to more problems. So I lost my prescription sunglasses. I have no blanket idea where they are. I sent out the search parties, retraced the steps, said the prayer to St. Anthony. Come on, St. Anthony. No idea. Okay, so I know that I lost the glasses because I wasn't even thinking about them when I took them off my head. And I put them somewhere or something happened because I wasn't in the moment. Whatever you do, you got to slow it down, all right? And block out the words, hold on, I'll be with you in a minute. Then you turn back to whatever you're doing. But we don't do that. We Americans are frenetic. Other cultures are not like us. But we're doing it 7, 8. You know it in your own life. You know it. The dog's got to go out. The kids want this. The TV's too loud. The people, you can't. Everything has to slow down. Because if it doesn't, you're going to make mistakes. Those prescription sunglasses cost me $400 or $500. Okay, that's a big mistake. And it's my fault. Because when I took them off my head, I did not register where I put them. Done. I can't tell you how crazy I am. But it's a lesson. Because I was doing 7 things at once. And I'm going to stop that. That is the final thought. Thank you very much for watching and listening tonight. New column Sunday noon. See you soon. Does inflation and the looming prospect of recession have you worried about your savings? Endowments, pension funds, and the ultra-wealthy have been quietly investing in farmland for decades, and it's paying off for them. Farmland returns have averaged 11% per year for the last 30 years, even despite the dot-com crash, Great Recession, and COVID-19. When inflation goes up, so too does farmland value. Until recently, farmland investments have mostly been accessible only to institutions and elites. Acre Trader breaks this barrier. Acre Trader makes it easy to invest in thoroughly reviewed farm offerings, quickly and securely. Their team of agriculture experts does all the work while you collect passive income from your farmland investment. So put your money in a time-tested asset by visiting acretrader.com, or you can call 888-958-1470 and tell them O'Reilly sent you. That's acretrader.com.